I'm Dr. Wayne Handley. I'm here today to talk to you for a few minutes about an upcoming seminar that I'll be a part of called Dealing with Grief During the Holidays. I was a part of this last year in 2023 when my good friend Tina Fornwald asked me to be a part of this. She was collecting what she thought would be a group of diverse ideas and perspectives on how to have some really honest conversations about what grief is like and what grieving is like, especially during the holidays. So one of the reasons that I thought this was such an important idea is because most people are told what to do during the time when they find themselves grieving either the loss of a relationship or the loss of a loved one or the loss of some other significant part of their life, even something that some people may think is not as significant, like a pet. You know, the sudden death of a pet is a very tragic event for some people, and grief comes in all forms. And I think this is a great opportunity for people who attend the seminar to get that perspective from different viewpoints. Um, I'm a military veteran. I was a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I'm also a 25-year law enforcement veteran. I happen to be a chief of police in a small rural department right now. I'm also a very vocal mental health advocate, not just for um, grieving, but also for people that are exposed to trauma, whether it's primary or secondary exposure to trauma, and the impacts that it can have on health and well-being overall, not just mental health, but physical health as well. And so this is a great opportunity, I think, to be a part of something where there's a really smart group of people that get together and they all come with their own ideas and areas of focus that as a person attending this seminar can kind of take and choose almost like a little buffet of ideas on how to work through their own grief and how to kind of face how they want to or come up with a plan on how they want to go through this grief process. I think one of the most important things to realize is that grieving is not, a step-by-step process. When people talk about the 7 steps of grief, or they talk about these other types of concepts or ideas that are specifically rooted in theory, mental health theory and in counseling theory, what we lose sometimes is that human element that all of your life experiences and all of the relationships that you had and all of the things that you've done in your life up until the time where you experienced that event or events that maybe caused these feelings of grief to be a part of your everyday experience. All of those are important, and we can't just pretend that they didn't happen. And so I think grief has to be a layered approach. Dealing with grief is a layered approach, and it is unique to each person because their experiences are unique. I could never say that the experiences that I had in my 55 years now are the same as anybody else's. I look different. I've lived in different places. I, have different family expectations, things like that. They all matter and they all are important. And this is what's important about this seminar is that getting together and listening to some of these different perspectives and hearing things that you may not have thought of or that you may not think to ask. Especially if this is the first time you're doing this, if this is the first holiday that you're having where you are grieving the loss of something that is important in your life, this is a great opportunity to kind of look at how you want to go through that process and think about what works for you, because ultimately that's what this is about. How do we find what works for us as individuals? And I think that being a part of this process is that important, and this is a great opportunity. It didn't take long. We had a great opportunity last year. I think we had a very good time. We had a very good turnout, and we had some really good responses. And so, of course, when Tina asked me to be a part of it this year, of course, I jumped right on it and said, hey, absolutely, of course I am. So I hope that this is something you would consider and think about it. If you're experiencing these feelings of loss, if you're experiencing the sadness or the depression or the anger or the guilt or so many feelings that come along with grief. And even those feelings can be on a spectrum. One day you're feeling really angry, and some days you're feeling just a little bit less angry, but maybe more guilty. Or some days you're just the sadness that you feel is just overwhelming. It's just like this wave that just takes you over you. Think about being a part of this, part of this seminar. Think about being a part of the process that we're going to be having. in this work group, and I really think that you'll come away with something. I do believe that even if it's one idea or one concept or one thought process that works for you and that you can internalize and make a part of your life, it'll be so worth it. So I hope to see you when we all meet. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening. And whatever you're going through right now, you're not alone. And I know you may hear that a lot from other people. Oh, you're not alone. We're with you. But the truth is, you're not alone. And there are a lot of people that would love to share with you and hear what you have to say. And I think that that's a cathartic process. So we hope to see you there. Thank you very much for your time, and be well.